Hey guys, it's Crispy. I'm here to talk about two movies tonight, and they're both directed by Bruce Longo. First one is Course for Christmas, and the second one is Pumpkin Man Lives. So I'm going to talk about Course for Christmas first. So this movie is not just a movie to me; it is an experience. Not that I'm talking about the movie itself. I'm talking about like what I did during the summer, like in my relationship with this movie that I love so much. Um, I was really impressed with Bloodsick Psychosis because Bruce Longo really showed a genuine eye. There were certain moments in Bloodsick Psychosis that like displayed guerrilla filmmaking, where he's actually capturing characters having genuine conversations, and like finding a nice way into like fitting it into the world of the movie that he's making. And I was really looking forward to watching Course for Christmas for that reason. Was like, oh man, this dude's like he's like got this on pat, like where he has all these crews and these cast of characters that he's like congregating together and they're interacting with each other. And somehow he comes out with a very cohesive project. And it's really hard doing that, especially when you don't really have a budget. So it's nice to see that with this one he keeps that momentum, like you can follow the story. It's really stripped down. It's very sov. It's actually shot on vhsc, so like it does look like not clean and stuff like that. It kind of gives you this feeling like you're watching something that you shouldn't be watching. And yeah, it's a nice effect. What I can say about this movie for the most part is that is not for everybody. Not everyone is gonna like it, especially with the subject matter is necrophilia. This is actually a necrophilia movie, and it's set in Christmas. He released it in the July as a Christmas in July, but I guess it's not an important thing to bring up. But there are some similarities to this and Bloodsick Psychosis, but it's just that this has, I wouldn't say it's the same as it, but it kind of has like it's bigger. Like the new movie is bigger. He has a bigger lineup of music than he did in the last one. He has a bigger production. He actually has post production done in this film and in A Corpse for Christmas as well. And there are events that happen in the making of this movie, like he lost an actor and then he had to gain a new actor, and this new actor he gained was Nicholas DeGidio, which is one of the highlights of this movie. This dude is so funny. He is the killer in the movie and he's doing really heinous and fucked up things, but this movie doesn't, it's not like Eli Roth where it's trying to disturb you. Sorry, that was a fly. Where it's trying to disturb you. It's probably a corpse around here. I'm just fucking with you. That's fucked up. um uh I'm just trying to make it fitting, but I'm not being funny. Um, so yeah, it doesn't approach the violence as extremely gratuitous. It's just like trying to make a story involved with these things. And also I think it's more suited into the personality of Bruce Longo, where he's really interested in, it seems that he's really interested in true crime, and he's kind of like putting in like parts of his personal life and like putting it through imagery, but also adding in like these fucked up elements like Richard Chase and like people like Carol Bundy and stuff like that. In this case, Course for Christmas is based on real like serial killers. It's the same with Bloodsick Psychosis. It's just a different feel because the 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 romantic approach to this film, where the characters are kind of like getting to know each other, it's very sweet, and it's nice that this movie has pace. And I feel like, you know, say what you will about the movies of Bruce Longo, they could be very cheap. They could seem like, for some people that might walk into the movie, they might not feel like they see much. This is a director that's like learning. I feel like he's learning and he's getting better as he's like making more projects, and that's really nice to see. Like when it comes to feature films, because I'm about to talk about Pumpkin Man Lives, and that's going to be a completely different approach that I'm going to give. But when it comes to Corpse of Christmas, is more like a step in the right direction. And like I said, this movie was more of like an experience to me. It was a very personal journey because I was like infatuated with the SOV genre because it's a different type of vibe, and it's also really linked into filmmaking culture within itself, whether people like it or not. Um, Like there's actually a SOV movie that's like converted into 35 millimeter film, and it's called Trash Humpers, directed by Harmony Korine, who did like Spring Breakers and fucking Beach Bum. What other movies he did? I know he did Gummo and he wrote Kids, but Harmony Korine is like a known music video director, and he's done big projects, and he started off with like shooting movies on his video camera and being crazy enough to like convert it into fucking like 35 millimeter. Like that's just insane. But yeah, Bruce Longo loves SOV. He loves horror movies. He loves sleazy horror movies. He loves movies like fucking Robot Monster and Madman and like shit from like the 1930s with a mad scientist, like or like those like Ron Orman movies. You know what I mean? Like he's into like really niche, like really cool shit, and it kind of bleeds through with like especially Blood Sick Psychosis, which isn't what we're talking about, but that's kind of the vibe Bruce gives off. Like where there are directors like Guy Ritchie or Quentin Tarantino where they really put in the style of the type of films they love in their movies. Bruce Long is doing the same thing with SOV. But at the same time, he's putting his story on it, and he's kind of flipping in true crime into like a movie, into his movies. And so far he's working on what I feel is pacing and like structure into each of his movies, and as it appears they're getting better. And like my only output into that is to say, like, I encourage that drive in him, and I hope that he makes more movies in the future, and things go very well for him. And that's kind of my review for Blood Sick, sorry, for Corpse for Christmas. I'm going to talk about Pumpkin Man Lives Now. This movie was actually in Corpse for Christmas on a scene, but just bits of it. This entire project is actually only like 20 minutes long, and it's not anywhere near like Corpse for Christmas. I guess the only similarities you can put with his feature films is that it does involve death, um, but it's only spliced into the story, not the death part, but just the part of loss. Like it's kind of talking about, it's kind of a story that's dealing with loss. But Let me just read the back. It says, "She died, but Pumpkin Man lives. The terrible tale of how Pumpkin Man came to be, the little girl that believed in him, and the 65-year-old boxer next door who saved the day." So, there's a lot of context to this. This is for people that are in it. They're in the shit. If this is if this is the first movie that you see that's SOV, you might still be entertained because this has Dave the Rock Nelson, and he is the coolest fucking guy on the planet. Like this dude, he makes movies like no one I've ever seen before. Like, so Pumpkin Man Lives is based on the original Bruce Longo Pumpkin Man films, which is actually free to view on YouTube. Like just look it up, and it's fucking incredible. It reminds me a little bit of like Andy Milonakis, where he just kind of eats cereal and he's goofy. Like, but David Rock Nelson takes it to another level where he's got these movies that he's making, like Saddam Insane, or like This Person versus the Wolfman, and he puts in like fake commercials. Like in the Pumpkin Man movie, he's like, "Make sure you go to the drive-in concession stand and try our new Pumpkin Man soup," and he's like making soup. Like in the fucking movie, he's just making soup. Or like in the middle of the movie, when the Pumpkin Man shows up, Dave the Rock Nelson is literally making a burger on a fucking frying pan, like a dirty ass fucking frying pan that's already got oil on it, like just burning up. And he's adding cheese and mushroom. And he's like, "Oh, put some of that sauce on that burger." And he's like preparing himself food to beat the Pumpkin Man. And that stuff fucking, like, it sounds terrible when I'm saying it. Like, I don't know how to. It's sort of like in hip hop, like if you like Playboy Cardi, and like you can't just say like, "Yo, you gotta listen to Playboy Cardi," but like you can't like just tell anybody to like listen to Playboy Cardi, because they're gonna listen and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Like that's kind of like how this type of stuff is to me. Is like there's some context to it, but I swear to God, it's enjoyable if you just give it a chance. just live in this world for a minute and you would understand what I mean. And I feel like this movie is it's a it's a love letter to Dave the Rock Nelson on how much Bruce loves this man, because they're friends. Like he kind of like became friends with Dave the Rock Nelson by writing him letters and stuff through a website Dave the Rock Nelson had where he would sell his movies. And it like you can actually still write to Bruce Longo and request his movies. I don't have a link to it or anything, but if you buy the DVD or DVD, if you buy the like Blu-ray or DVD, they give you this form, and you can write on the form like what you want, and then you'll put in a total, send it to Dave the Rock Nelson, and he'll send you his movies, and he'll like customize it for you too. He'll like draw on it and do all this fun stuff. I'm probably giving the worst like summary for Dave the Rock Nelson, but it's literally something you can't put into words. Like you actually have to experience him, like experience his movies, right? But I think there is also a special thing about actually like feeling the essence of actually knowing the person like himself, because he is completely in content. Dave the Rock Nelson is completely in content with who he is, you know, and he's completely cool with how much love he has for movies, so much so that he produces them all by himself, and he just hopes to make you feel good when you watch the films. He's not this like Federico Fellini. He knows who the fuck he is, and like a lot of what this movie is kind of a testament to that, to be like, I love Dave the Rock Nelson and you should too. And there's actually an event happening in a week, in when is it? I wrote it down actually. It's at the 16th of October at 7:30 p.m. If you're in the Philadelphia area or at least in the East Coast, you should come to the Philomoka and see Pumpkin Man Lives. But also they're gonna have a Dave the Rock Nelson movie playing as like kind of like a double feature. Um, and you should come in to Philomoka at 7:30 p.m. October 16th on a Monday. I'll tell you, it'll be worth it, man. Especially if you get a chance to interact with Dave, and you get to give him, you know, like the respects, and just get a feeling for who he is, man. He's a very bright, vivid person. From what I see, I've never met him personally, but I got real great stories from Bruce. So yeah, I haven't really talked about the movie that much. The I read the back. I thought it was pretty good. Like pretty much that's what I'm gonna say, is that it's just a testament on how like much Bruce loves Dave the Rock Nelson. And yeah, this is just a sequel, kind of a sequel to add into the Pumpkin Man universe. And the best parts of it obviously is fucking Dave the Rock Nelson. So if you are a fan of Dave, and you absolutely have to have everything that he's in, I don't think it would be a bad investment for you to take this. There's special features in this too. So there was an introduction from Dave the Rock Nelson that was put into the movie A Corpse for Christmas. This has an extended version of that. Also, it has trailers. And it also has an hour of trailers, I guess, compiled from Dave the Rock Nelson's collection, and it's literally an hour of material of Dave the Rock Nelson shot segments that he's done throughout the years. And yeah, that's what it seems like. That's all in here. And I do recommend that you pick this up. I'm gonna put a link through the website if you want to purchase it. And yeah, that's all I have to say about these movies, is that they're worth checking out. And if you want to actually give it a little bit of a chance, I'd say you go down below and get the link to buy the films. But also I recommend you just to look at the trailers on YouTube and just tell me what you think. Put the comments below, press the like button. Good night, guys.